out of yours.
It's a hundred. You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
I gotta give Penny Lockman today.
What are you saying?
Penny Lockman was out there freezing his little hiney off today.
Yeah.
And he does. Dr. Joey had the second shot, and he was there too.
Yeah, but when did he get the second shot?
Friday.
So it doesn't count as a second shot yet. It still takes some time.
Oh, I didn't know we had a medical pundit here. I didn't know that.
It's like a week to 10 days after you get the second shot that you actually get the full.
Yes. Yeah, my son told me. Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. Where is everybody so late tonight?
Rabbi, did it work what I sent you?
I don't know. They didn't try yet.
Oh, let me know.
Well, some people might have started watching the Dr. Glott thing late, so
People watch that?
I actually watched it. It was pretty decent.
Why?
I knew most of it because I was curious what he was going to say. I got some information that I could share with my patients.
Okay.
Jesse, you the man.
I won't go that far.
All right. So, Chazal from yesterday. How to properly take off challah on Pesach, and then we said that you can combine challah, meaning if challah is touching, then or you put into a basket or a pot, then you can be mafresh challah altogether, and that's why
You guys can make
right. That's why the women were able to make small amounts of challah or matzah on Pesach, and then they were able to combine them to take off to be mafresh challah, right? And then in the Mishna, the Mishna was Machlokes how 3 women could knead dough at the same time. Then we said the rule is as long as somebody's working with the dough at all times, and it's not going to become chametz. And then we said different women, depending on the speed of their kneading, etc., that can make the difference in how the dough is made. Then the machlokes is what seyor is and what the punishments are, and the description of what it is. Some say that it means like the antennas of the the antennas of the grasshoppers, and some say that it means some crisscrosses. Okay, so we have a very today's daf is mamish is a mitzvah Shabbos daf. Baruch Hashem, it's pretty easy. Okay, so Dr. Mishna. Arba'at Shechalios b'Shabbos, the 14th, that falls out on Shabbos. Mevarnas hakol lefnei Shabbos. Divrei Rameir. So you have to burn all your chametz before Shabbos. That sheet is Rameir. Chachamim bismanoi. Chachamim say no, you can get rid of it bismanoi. Obviously, you can't burn it. According to the Chachamim, you're not allowed to burn on Shabbos. But you would be able to grind it up and throw it into the river, assuming there's an Erev. Truma, you get rid of before Shabbos, v'chulin bismanon, and chulin you do at the proper time, right? Yeah. So why truma? Why truma before Shabbos? Because who are you going to feed it to? You can't give it to the zarim, and you can't give it to the behemoths of zarim. So what are you going to do? And to leave it, to let it sit around, you can't do that either because it's going to be chametz. It's chametz, right? Obviously, if you can give it all to kohanim, then that's what you should do. Yeah, but chulin you can wait. Okay, so Zok the Gemara. Tanya Rebbe Elazar bar Tzadok. Pam achas Shabbos Abba b'Yavne. One time, Abba slept in Yavne, right? Meaning his father went to Yavne. V'chal arba also liyas b'Shabbos, and was Erev Pesach shechal b'Shabbos. Ubaz Zunin Memuna Shel Rebbe Gamliel, and came Zunin, the guy in charge of Rebbe Gamliel. V'amar Giya Eis Levaras the chametz. Came time to burn the chametz. V'lachti achar Abba. V'yarnu was the chametz, and we came after, and he came after my father. Let me say, I'm sorry. Halachti achar Abba. I went after my father. V'yarnu was the chametz, and we got rid of the chametz. Right. So you see from this that the ma'aseh was that he got rid of the chametz on Shabbos. Right. That's basically what it is. Now in Shulchan Aruch, we paskin Yeah, and that you're supposed to get rid of everything before Shabbos. You get rid of all your chametz before Shabbos except for 2 meals, right? Now, what about shalosh seudas? What do you do with shalosh seudas? Erev Pesach, Shabbos. I mean, we'll discuss it now. Hopefully, the island will remember.
Yeah,
you
but
can't-
Thomas Nagaya this year, no?
You
Yeah,
can't eat any more shalshudas at that man. You can't eat chametz.
Correct. So you
So
can't eat
they say
chametz.
egg matzah or
One second,
fruit
isn't
or
isn't
learning.
that why we daven early or something? Just daven
Right.
early or something?
So 1 second. So let's go with the order of what it does in Shulchan Aruch. It says seudas shalishas, so like Naftali's saying, you obviously can't have matzah because it's already Erev Pesach. You're not allowed to have matzah in Erev Pesach. You can't have chametz because obviously it's after this man. Right? So the question is, can you have a matzah shira? But the Ramah says nowadays our minig is we don't eat matzah shira. So he says you do it fruit or basav adagim, right? Now this is always where I wonder because the achronim that came after Shulchan Aruch, after the Ramah say, why can't you get up early, right? Daven early, eat the seudah, bench, go for a walk, whatever it is, and then eat shalosh seudas. Even though yes, there are those that hold that shalosh seudas is supposed to be after mincha, but eat shalosh seudas. So yes, that's what some places can say to do, which is I think the minig in the Welt is to do that, and then to be yaitza the shalosh seudas after mincha, you have some fruit or whatever it is.
Maybe the Rishonim was smarter than the Achronim. Is it
That's
possible?
That's exactly my question. I don't know, like what they couldn't think of that, right? Right? I don't know. Every time we do that, right? What are we smarter than them? Right? But that's the
What
way
did your
most-
father say? He wrote a whole sefer on this. What did your father say to do?
That's him. I don't know. He said that's what seems like the minig in the Welt is to do it that way. It's
Do what?
to
What again? To do which part again?
you daven early.
Oh,
You wash and then you bench and then you have the main thing is to make sure you have enough of a break in between the meals so it doesn't become a bracha she'eina tzricha. Right? And then you wash again and then you want to eat fruit later in the afternoon, then you can do that. Okay, fine. But anyways, that's basically what we do. But midini de Shulchan Aruch, you eat 2 meals and you eat fruit later on, and that's all. Fruit, mezainis, whatever. Well, the shaila is what kind of mezainis. Okay. So
Jacob, you could eat a Pesach tikacholent in the afternoon. What's the problem?
You could eat a Pesach tikacholent. Yeah, you could. Yeah, or fruits or whatever it is.
So that's
Yeah.
okay. So the same difference, Aaron. You're not
Right.
eating bread. That's the issue. What do you should us with? There's nothing to do.
Right, and you could also chas v'shalom learn too. You right? Those shittas that hold you could do limud Torah for shalosh seudas, right? There's also a possibility.
I mean, if you can eat
humbug.
fruit, you can eat limud Torah. Works.
Correct. And you know what? To eat fruit while you're learning, that's probably the best eitzah. Right? Okay. So the Mishnah. Somebody's going to shech his korban pesach and to bimal his son seudas erisin and to eat seudah of an erisin of engagement in his in-laws' house. Right, we'll see in the Gemara exactly what that seudas erisin is. And he remembers that he has chametz in his house. So he forgot his chametz at home. Who exactly is making an engagement party on Erev Pesach? I don't know, but that was the scenario. So if you're able to go home and do the beer chametz, then do it. If not, then if not, then you just mavatal it in your heart, and that's it. Let's say he's trying to escape goyim, he's on the run, or a river, or listim, or a fire, or from a collapsed building. Then all he has to do is be mavatal in his liba, because obviously he doesn't have the option to go back. And to do a shvisas of reshus, but if he's just stam traveling for whatever reason, an optional thing, then he has to go back home. That's without a doubt, right? So basically, we have three levels here. You have a quasi mitzvah, which is it's not a quasi mitzvah, but the milah and to shech the korban pesach, that's a mitzvah, but it's not, if you have the ability to do both, then you do both. To escape because of pikuach nefesh, obviously you're not going to have the ability to do both, so then you don't do both. It doesn't battle in your heart. But if it's something that's just optional, then of course you have to go home and to get rid of your chametz in the proper way. What?
This Gemara is a raya how much Chazal believe that Yisroel Kadosh made. This guy's running away from robbers and he's thinking chametz. I have chametz at home.
Fair enough. True. Very good. Somebody who left Yerushalayim and he remembers that he has in his hand hektish. So maybe by mistake he took home the hektish. If he passed Saifim, right, which is that's Haaretz Ofim. I don't know if that's exactly what it's referring to, but Saifim means where you could see the Bais Hamikdash. Once you went that far, then you could just burn it in where you are. If you didn't yet pass there, then you go back to the Bais Hamikdash and you burn it there. Yeah, lifnei abira me'atzam ha'aracha, and you're supposed to burn it in front of the bira, from the wood of the maracha. Right now, what does lifnei abira mean? Yeah, that's the place in the Bais Hamikdash where that's where they normally burnt the kodshim. Right. That's basically what it is. So you're supposed to go back to the proper place. Yeah? Okay, there's a thesis about it, but let's just go back. Yeah, and how much hektish, how much meat do you have to go back? That you need to have a kebeya. Right? Meaning chametz and hektish. How much is it that you have to go home, go back? Well, go back to the Bais Hamikdash or go back home. It's a kabei. They're both with kazayis. Chamar and basa kodesh b'kazayis. Hektish is with a kazayis. The chametz b'kabeya and chametz is with a kabeya. Right. So that's the way he says. Yeah. So it's three-way machlokes is what the measurements are. Fine. So Zogdimar, Ramino, I'll ask you a stira seudas erison the base chama. Somebody who's going to eat a seudas erison in his in-law's house. He has to go back immediately. Right? So that's fakert from our Mishna. Our Mishna says if he can make it back there, then yes, but he doesn't vow they have to go back unless he can't make it. Right? So Rabbi Yochanan lekasha or Rabbi Yehuda or Rabbi Yosi. No, it's Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yosi. The Tanya seudas erison reshus. We have a brayso that says a seudas erison. Now again, erison is really an engagement. The way it was in the Gemara's times. They got engaged and then a year later they got married. Right? Erison is what we do with Harayat Mikudeshas Li. That's erison. Nesuin is the Sheva brachas that they do under the chuppah. For us, we do it immediately, one after the other. But by then, they made what we would call an engagement, but it really is a marriage. But they didn't live together. And then they made a seuda, right? So Rabbi Yosi, and so the Bais says a seudas erison reshus according to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yosi, I mean, mitzvah. It's not a reshus, it's a mitzvah. So therefore, that's going to depending on which shita you go with. That's going to be whether you're mechuyev to go back home in order to burn the chametz. Right? This is only a machlokes with the second seuda. Right? Rashi says that what they did is they sent presents. You see, it's not only now that they have this thing with sending presents to the kala. Right? They sent presents to the kala then, and they would make another seuda. Right? Oh, but seuda rishayna they called mitzvah. But the first seuda, so that's already an optional seuda. But the seuda rishayna, everybody holds that that's a mitzvah. So then, if that's what we hold, then I feel Mahava Rabbi Yehuda. You could even say that they're both Rabbi Yehuda. But like kasha, seuda rishayna, seuda shniya. One is seuda rishayna, which is a mitzvah, and seuda shniya is not. It's just a reshus. Right. So there's a couple of ways of explaining the machlokes. Either it's a mitzvah, the whole meal for the erisinism is a machlokes, whether it's a reshus or a mitzvah, or we could say no, it's the differences between the first meal and the second meal. Tanya, fine. I never heard of that that the second meal is mitzvah. Only the first meal is a mitzvah. Right? Amar Rabbi Yosef, ani shemati seudas eresin, v'savlunus. The seuda of eresin and the presents are both mitzvahs. Right. Tani Rav Shimon Omer, kol seuda she'eina shel mitzvah ein talmid chacham reshus lahanas mimena. If a meal is not meant for a mitzvah, then a talmid chacham is not allowed to be none from it. Yeah. So if you ever see that rabbis don't like to go to meals or don't like to go to parties, etc., this is the source for that. It's a talmid chacham is not allowed to be nana from a seuda like that. What's an example? A bas kohen li Yisroel, a bas kohen that marries a Yisroel, who bas talmid chacham lama Haaretz, and a bas talmid chacham lama Haaretz. Tamar Rav Yochanan, a bas kohen li Yisroel, ein zivugan oilo yafe. If a bas kohen marries a Yisroel, if kohanim marry out of the fold, then it's not a good shidduch. It's not good. What does that mean? Either the kohen's daughter will become an almana, a grusha, or she won't have kids. Right? You hear this, Aaron Kaplan? You may make sure your daughter marries a kohen. Yeah, according to this, at least.
We're not knowing like that. Jacob,
no, we are not. We're not knowing like that. Let's see. In the Brisa, it says, either he's going to bury her or she's going to bury him, or she's going to bring him to become an ani. Okay, so obviously that's not a good thing. If somebody wants to become wealthy, right? If you want to become wealthy, then you should marry a bas kohen. For sure, your daughter will do that, right? I don't know. I'm saying you're going to feed your daughter, you're going to make them rich. Yeah. And of course, Torah and Kahuna is going to make them wealthy, right? Meaning because
Jacob, I'll follow my Shvar's Messiah on support.
Yeah. Can't you got to wait for Yuri to be on in order to go with that. Go down that one. Yeah. Anyway, so you see clearly that there is something good about marrying a bas kohen. Like kasha haba talmid chacham. No, one is talking about where a talmid chacham marries a kohen, but if it's an amoretz, then it's a problem. Rabbi Yeshua Nasiv Kahanasa Cholash, right? Rabbi Yehuda married a kohen, Cholash, and he got sick or weak. Amar. It must not be good for Aaron that I'm marrying his kids. And then he should have a son-in-law. A chassan is a son-in-law, like me. So Rabbi Berav married a daughter of a kohen. And he had two kids that had smicha. Right? Rav Sheshes b'rei the Rav Idi, Rav Shua b'rei the Rav Idi. Yeah? So obviously for him it worked out. So for Rabbi Yeshua it didn't work out, and for Rav Idi Baravan it did work out. He said, had I not married a kohen, I would not have become wealthy. If I would not have married a kohen, I would not have gone to Golus, meaning to go from Babel there to Yisroel. You went to a Makam Torah, right? So what kind of punishment is that? No, he says I didn't go there because I was forced to go there. I didn't go there as an option, right? Because for whatever reason, Rashi says he was on the run from the whoever the government was after him, so that's why he escaped.
Why is that called Gullus, going to Eretz Yisrael?
That's really what the Gemara is asking. That's really, you're right. That's what the Gemara is asking. So he answered them because I didn't go voluntarily. I had to go by force. Right? I think it probably has to do with meaning somebody who's required to do something is considered better than somebody who does it voluntarily. Because when you do it when you're forced to do it, it's a problem. Right?
Seems the Gemara didn't have an issue with the term gullus being used. Gemara used it back. the Gemara just says that Halamakam Torah Galisa. Itaka was a galus. You were sent away from the greatest Torah learning in the world in Bavel. But Lamaisa, you went to a Makam Torah, so how are you complaining? But the Gemara understood it was a galus.
Right. That's true, but I think it just means being uprooted from the place that you want. Right?
Yeah, I mean it's a galus, but it's not a galus
listen,
like other people.
You're saying there should be worse galus than to go from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael,
That's the
right?
Gemara's kasha. That's the Gemara's kasha.
Yeah.
And his answer was I was forced.
He was forced. So Mamela doesn't have the same. When people are running to Eretz Yisrael because the elections in the United States doesn't have the same gishmak as if they're going when they decide they want to do aliyah, etc., etc. Right? Fine. So Amar Rav Yitzchak, kol nene miseudas hareshus l'soiv goyla. Anybody who's nene from a seudas or reshus is going to end up going to goyla. Shenema va'oichlim karam matzon va'agolam mitoich marvek. So it's saying you're gonna eat fatty sheep and etc. And then it says, and then you're gonna go to Golos. So I don't know what the restaurants do with this Gemara right here, right?
This whole Gemara doesn't. I mean, how does that stem? That on one hand, that a person is mechuyev to make a seudas mitzvah across the board on different yanim, and on the same note, it seems as if you shouldn't be going ahead and participating in a seudas mitzvah.
What do you mean? It doesn't say no. It says seudas or reshus.
Seudas or reshus over here, but I'm saying like no, we finished this whole segment. But above, we're talking about these chasanas and such like that a talmid chacham shouldn't participate in those.
It's a chas only if it's an Haaretz marrying a talmid chacham, etc., etc. If it's a regular chasana where it's a seudas mitzvah, then the talmid chacham should. It's only talmid chacham shouldn't participate only. Well, the Gemara, you're right. The Gemara first starts over the talmid chacham shouldn't participate at all. Then the Gemara ends up saying anybody shouldn't participate. Anybody who's nene from a seudas or reshus is going to go to Golos. Now, how do you define a seudas or reshus? Is that a party? What is that? What is a seudas or reshus?
Some people only ate fleishiks by seudas mitzvahs. They didn't eat fleishiks, just like this.
I hear
they
that.
Ate Shabbos and Yontif and seudas mitzvahs. Otherwise, they didn't eat fleishiks.
Right. No, in a chanami, but what does it mean a seudas or reshus? If you every time you have a supper, you're not allowed to eat supper, right? That's a seudas or reshus.
No, I think the Gemara was mashma before that there's a difference between a meal and a seudah. A seudah is a bigger deal than a meal. A seudah or reshus would be a birthday party. Anyone who has enough from a birthday party that they make with meat, with whatever, turn it into a seudah. That would be a seudah or reshus.
I'm saying, so a bunch of guys get together to go to a restaurant. A minion of guys. They're going to have a goodbye party. Okay. Seudas Preda, maybe that's a shoe. Okay, forget that. Hey, I don't know. And they're going to have a good time.
Jacob, why did you go so bad? According to the Shita, dinner party is a problem also for business. You're going out for business.
Correct. Right.
I think you meant the dinner for a school.
No, that would be considered a seudas mitzvah. That would be considered seudas mitzvah.
Haaretz, nice try though.
Where's that ball? Where's that ball when we need him? Yeah.
It's a week before the dinner. You're not going to see him.
Right. But I don't know. I don't know how you define a seudas or a reshus. Okay, whatever it is. I mean, it's l'chayr. It's the same din by playing music, right? You're not allowed to play music by a seudas or a reshus. Only time you really make a din, according to the mechaber, at least, to play music b'zman hazeh is during a seudas mitzvah. So how do you define a seudas mitzvah? So seudas or reshus, everybody defines as like a regular supper. You should not have music, right? A lot of the kashrut, I think I don't know. I think the OU's mark with no music should be played in their restaurants.
OU, yeah. OU,
right? Others don't care. Others don't care. So I don't know. So
this is the Gemara. We're a few weeks away from the Super Bowl. This is the Gemara that's speaking to those.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to say Super Bowl, right? I don't know. Okay, fine. Toner Rabbanon. Kol Talmud Amar seudas b'chol mokim soif machav es beisa. If a Talmud chacham is constantly having big parties, he's going to destroy his house. U'ma'alman es ishtay, and his wife is going to lose her husband. U'miyasam es goizlov, and his kids are going to have Yisrael. He's going to die. Talmud mishtakach mimenu, and his Torah is going to be forgotten from him. Machlokes rabbis Bais Hamikdash, he's going to have a lot of machlokes. Udvar v'enem neshmayim, people are not going to listen to him. V'chal shem shemayim, shem rabbi, v'shem aviv. He's going to cause a chil shem shemayim and his rebbe and his father. V'garim shem ra loy ulevanav v'donei banav atzoy kol hadoros. Let me tell you something. It's a reason not to become a talmid chacham just for this, right? That's what I would think, right? So I mean, and if you're going to become a talmid chacham, do not be marba in suda, because it doesn't sound like it's going to be very good results.
This is be rough for those rabbis who are going to Dubai. They're taking all the oil to Dubai for 10 days. All those rabbis who are advertising in the newspapers. You send them this Gemara.
Then Erochanami, Elamai, they're going to tell you they're not talmidei chachamim.
Well, that I know.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. So what does this mean?
They're going straight from Yeshua's Super Bowl party to Dubai.
Yeah,
I think it's to say a week apart or something like that.
Yeah.
How did I get to hosting a Super Bowl party, Aaron? I don't even know what you're talking about.
I didn't say you're hosting it. You mentioned it. I didn't say you're hosting it. I didn't say that.
For Kiruv.
By him, it's a seudas mitzvah. We know that. We know.
Rabbi Feider said today in the drasha, he said that we learned nothing with all these Dubai programs from COVID. I wanted to ask him, is that because you didn't get invited as a scholar in residence yet?
Whatever.
Yeah, but that's not nice.
It was a joke.
Somebody said that, I read an article somewhere, there's 50,000 Israelis vacationing in Dubai. They said they're not vacationing in Israel because all the hotels are closed. Everybody goes to Dubai. How does that make any sense? Okay. Anyways, Mahi. So what is the pshat? Amar Abai, Korolei Parmechaim Tanuri. They're going to call him the son Parmecham Tanuri. I'm sorry, the son of somebody who turns on ovens, meaning that his oven is always on. Rav Amar Bar Meraket Pekuvi. He's the guy that dances in the bars. Right? You know that guy who's always dancing in the bars, drinking, right? And Rav Papa Amar Bar Melachich Pinchi. He's the guy that licks the plates, meaning he's so hungry. You know, you got those guys that lick, sort of like with somebody on the daf right now licking his pizza on his plate, right? So, sorry about that. Anyway, so Rav Shmai Amar Bar Moch Reva. This one is interesting. He's the son of somebody who folds himself up and he crouches himself, meaning a guy gets drunk and he folds his clothing under his head, Rashi says, and he puts himself in the corner and falls asleep. So that's what they're going to make. That's what we're going to say about a talmid chacham. Okay, fine. A person should sell everything that he has and he should marry a bas talmid chacham. Why? Why do you have to marry a bas talmid chacham? Because if the guy dies or he goes to Golus, meaning away from his kids, because since he married a bas talmid chacham, his daughter will be able to bring up his kids and to make them talmid chacham. If you marry a bas amaretz, so then the kids are going to be amaratzim. So now this is also brought in Shulchan Aruch. Right? This is mamash brought in Shulchan Aruch. But they say, the Chavas Yor says, and I think it's brought in Aruch HaShulchan too, is that we're not, nowadays, it's what we call Amoritz, meaning somebody who's uneducated. That's not what we're talking about. Talking about somebody who's Machal Shabbos. I don't know if it's Machal Shabbos, but he's Mezalzel and mitzvahs. Right? But he doesn't, meaning he's mamish and anti. It's not I don't think it means he's fry, but it just means that he's really a mezalzel. It's not just that he's not an amoretz, that he's not educated. Yeah. He should sell everything and marry a bas talmid chacham. V'yasi b'toy l'talmid chacham. He should marry his daughter off to a talmid chacham. Right? Famous Gemara. Mashal in ve'agefen bin ve'agefen. It's mashal to the gefen. There no miskabel that it's something nice when you put one geffen with another geffen, then it's something beautiful.
Nobody came up with a song with that one yet.
No, not yet. Davar koyer, it's something disgusting, but ain't miskabel, and it's not miskabel. I don't know if the oilam realized that today is the sneh. Today's parsha is the sneh, right? Moshe Rabbeinu, right?
Yeah, I'm just thinking that why is he calling it disgusting?
No, but to put a grapes together with a sneh, that's already not going to make. That's not going to make a good. That's not a good shidduch. You're not going to get anything good out of bonding a sneh together with grapes. Fine. Also, it's not exactly, what does it mean miskabel? So Rashi says miskabel. It's accept. Miskabel means l'shaimim. People are going to accept it. To people that hear it are going to be what? They're going to listen to it. I don't know exactly what that means. Right. Fine. I don't know if anybody has. I'm sure there's probably thousands of pshatim that were said over Sheva Brachos in exactly what it means miskabel or not miskabel. Fine. Person should sell everything and marry bas talmud chacham. Right? I don't know what this says. You don't find a talmud chacham, then marry the gadol ador. Okay, so it sounds like the gadol ador. So that Rashi says gadol ador means anshe ma'aseh u'tzadikim, right?
Askanim,
right? Basically, right. So if you can't marry the talmud chacham, marry the gadol ador. Lo matzah bas gadol ador, he's a bas rashi knesiyos. Then you marry. Now I don't know what that means. Rashi knesiyos means the president of the shul or the rabbi of the shul.
Well, like your cousin Aaron can marry both.
Ah, very good. There you go. Okay. That's correct. So, yeah, I don't know.
It's got all three.
Boy, according to this, man, they're going to be lining up around the corner.
That's right. That's right. You better believe it.
Yeah, but the thing is like this. Thing is, I don't know, they're selling everything. You sell everything. Is that because you know you're going to get supported? Is that like you can sell everything, or does that mean that you're not getting supported? I don't know.
Is that chal on the boy or the boy's parents?
To sell everything? I don't know. Yeah, but anyway.
Usually it's the girls that are offering support.
Correct. No, but here you got to try. I don't know. It's clear that you should be marrying these people even if you're not going to get support. That's the point of this Gemara, right? Loy matzah bas rashi knesiyos yisa bas gabay tzedakah. Then at least do the gabay tzedakah. Loy matzah bas gabay tzedakah yisa bas malam de tinoikas. Then go for rebbeim. For loy yisa bas amayaretz. Do not marry the daughter of amaretz. When they say in sheketz. Now we have some wild Gemaras here with amaratzim because they are considered shkotzim. Sheketz is disgusting things. When it's saying sheretz and their wives are also disgusting. Right? Because Rashi says, because they don't keep the mitzvahs. Saying who I'm on their daughters, it says, kol behema. And if you sleep, that's a curse to somebody who sleeps with a behema. Right? So the daughters are considered animals. Okay. Tanya, Rebbe, we'll see exactly why. Right? So Tanya Rebbe, Amaretz also lechol basar behema. And Amaretz is not allowed to eat the basar of a behema. Shenemar zois tayras a behema. This is the Torah of behema. Kala isip b'Torah. And then it says, Kala isip b'Torah mutar lechol basar behema v'oif. So it says zois tayras a behema v'oif. This is the Torah of behema v'oif. If you're not isip b'Torah, also lechol basar behema v'oif. So in Amaretz is not isip b'Torah. Therefore, he's not allowed to eat behema v'oif. Why he would listen to this, I don't know. Because he's not listening anyways, but okay, fine. Amar Rebbe Lazar, Amaretz mutar l'noichrei b'yom ha'kippurim shechaliyos b'Shabbos. You can stab an Amaretz on Yom Kippur that fell on Shabbos. Meaning, you got all these things working against you, and you're still allowed to kill him. Amar le Talmidei, Rabbi, Amar l'shachtoi. Why don't you say that you should shecht him? Right? Why are you saying that you should just stab him? Amarlen zet time bracha v'zeh ain't a time bracha. No, shchita requires a bracha. V'zeh ain't a time bracha. This does not require a bracha. Right? So killing an Amaretz is not. There's no mitzvah in that, but you're supposed to kill him.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last time around, I learned the Mashah. He says it's being malbin p'nei kavera, not actually killing him.
Yeah, but right. So that's what do you mean? That you should embarrass him?
You should embarrass him because he's an Haaretz, but you're not actually kill him.
Right.
Is there a bracha before shechita?
Yeah, of an animal, yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Fine. Anyways, so that's what we're saying. So I mean, whatever it is, there was not a very pleasant relationship between the regular people and an Amaratzim. That's for sure. You're not allowed to travel with him on the way. I'm sorry, what is it saying? Kihi, right? I don't know why it says kihi. Okay, but if he's not worried about his own life, because he doesn't keep the Torah on the life of his friend, he's gonna care about it, right? Meaning, if the guy doesn't have the proper attitude for what life is all about, then he doesn't care about life. I mean, which you see this, by the way, with all this end of life issues, pulling the plug, etc., etc. If you don't have Torah and you don't have any meaning for life, so okay, so then you just pull the plug, you do all these things. And we don't care. There's no concept of Chayei Shah or anything like that amongst the uneducated. Right? So Amar Shmuel Nachmeni, Amar Reb Yochanan, Amar it's mutter l'kareh kedog. And Amar it's mutter to tear him apart like a fish. Right? Amar Reb Shmuel bar Yitzchak u'megavar. And you could do this from his back, meaning if you do it from the back, he'll die right away. Right? Again, another thing that we're supposed to do to Amaratzim. Tanya, Amar Rabbi Kiva, Amaretz, when I was in Amaretz, Amarti mi'itin li talmid chacham ve'anashchenu kechamar. If somebody gives me a talmid chacham, I'll bite him like a chamar. Right? Like a donkey. Amar le Talmidei Rebbe Emar kekela. Why don't you say you bite him like a dog? The donkey, when it bites, it will break the bones. But a dog will bite and will not break bones. So therefore, I want it to really be a strong damage, right? So you see, it was both ways. It was the Talmidei Chachamim not liking the Amaratzim not going with the Talmidei Chachamim either. Tanya Ramei Raimer. If you marry your daughter to an Amaretz, it's as if you're tying her up and putting her in front of an Ari.
So wait. So Rabbi Akiva did tshuva, and then but technically he should have been killed, but someone could have killed him.
Yes, somebody could have killed him. Yeah, 100%.
Now he switched sides. Now he's anti-Amaratzim.
Yeah, but right, and of course we're talking about in the situations where we're in charge, and you're not gonna get yourself into trouble with this, right? So Ma'ari Doris. So we're saying you compare to an Ari. Ma'ari Doris va'aychol ve'im le'boishes panim. An Ari, what he does is he attacks, and he doesn't have any embarrassment. Af Amaretz maka ubayol. An Amaretz is going to hit. He beat his wife and sleep with her, and he has no pusha about it. Right? Meaning he's not mafayis, or Taisva says a lion, he eats before the animal even dies. Right? That's how hungry he is. So in our too is until he's not meeting. Okay. You're supposed to be mafayis the woman that until they want. So that's it, which requires a lot of patience, which is maybe a shovim shir, but not for now, right? So we're afraid you marry an Amaretz and somebody who doesn't get the shmooze in and doesn't have any of these concepts, and you marry your daughter off to that, you're pretty much setting up your daughter for a disaster. And I have to say, unfortunately, this is true. It is true. Fine. I mean, doesn't mean okay. Whatever. We'll leave it at that. It definitely is fairly common. Fine. Tanya Rabbi Elazar. If we wouldn't need them, if they wouldn't need us for business, they would just kill us. Meaning, if they need us to do business, so therefore they got to keep us alive. If you're Isaac B'Torah in front of an Haaretz, it's as if you're sleeping with his wife in front of him. Right? So
how do you give a share of Yaakov?
Well, you're probably giving a share to somebody who's wants to know, not who's somebody who's anti. Right? If you give it to somebody who's anti, so yeah, the key of things, we need an answer to that. Right? The question is like this: why? What's the point? I'm saying we're killing the guy, right? So who cares that you buy a lot of sasa in front of? Right? Rashi says because they embarrass him. So all of a sudden we care about embarrassing, right? So that's what it seems. That's where the whole hatred comes from, because of jealousy. So Mamela, you're just egging him on, which okay. I mean, it needs a big hezbollah exactly what this Gemara means, because all of a sudden we could kill him, but here we can't do it in his face because that really makes him upset. Okay, fine. Right? There's more sinner. Is more. I'm sorry. Right? There's more anger from an Haaretz to a talmid chacham than the anger from a guy to a yid, and the wives is even more. Right? The wives are even more. Yeah. So that's okay. Whatever. That's another shmooze exactly.
Yaakov, one of my family lives in Erev. So one of my father's cousins, he was such a soine das. Years ago, he said he wanted to go in to Meir Sharm, drive in there, and take his machine gun he had from the army and just shoot anybody that he saw. That's what he meant it. Why he didn't do it, Baruch Hashem, he never did it, but he meant it. An adult man, not a kid. An adult man.
Well, yeah. Okay, there you see the raya. Yeah. Okay.
Another Rabbi Akiva in the making.
Yeah, hopefully.
He's a MS.
Fine. Okay. Maybe he did tshuva before. It's okay. Tana, Shano Perish Yosem Mikulan. Somebody who learned, Shana he learned with Perish, and then he went away from the Torah, Yosem Mikulan, then he has more hatred than everybody. Fine. Tana Rabbanim, I mean, not fine, but that's what it is. Tana Rabbanim, Shishim Dvarim Nemar B'Haaretz. There's 6 things that are said by Haaretz. Ein Meiser Lehen Eidus. You obviously you can't have them to be witnesses. And you don't accept their edus. You can't tell them a secret because they don't have any din of lashon hara. They don't care. You don't let them become apotropos. The people in charge of the estate. And you don't put them as an apotropos for tzedakah. And you're not allowed to go, like we said before, you don't travel with them. You also don't have to try and return their lost property. Right? For Tanakama, but the Tanakama, sometimes they will have good kids that come out of them. And they'll be able to eat whatever is lost. That a person, a Russia prepares clothing, right? But the tzaddik will wear it. So we have a Machlokes here whether yesh omer if that you can be machres under aveda. So the Tanakama thinks you should be machres because maybe the kids are going to become from. Finally you see over here this last Gemara here that you see that there is a hope that the Amaratzim's kids are going to become better, and the Yesharim doesn't believe that that's going to be. Right? Tosfos asks a Pasha to Kasha, how do you know if it's a lost object? How do you know it's an Amoritz? Right? You found some money in the street or food or whatever. You're going to now say, oh, it's an Amoritz. Don't announce it. How do you know?
According to Yeshua, it's a Super Bowl program.
Okay. Right. So how do you know? So Taisa says a pasha de teretz. It's talking about a bunch of Amaratzim came traveling through. Right. They
basically what the answer is.
What do you say?
Party.
Right.
Basically what Taisa's answer is.
Yeah. So it was a bunch of Amaratzim. And so your assumption is that the lost object came from an Amaretz. Right. And therefore you shouldn't return it according to the second. Yeah.
Why is the Aveda the only one in singular? All of the rest, Ein Maman in Oison apotropos, Ein Maman in Oison, Mislavin Imahen. With the Aveda, it's Al Aveda Soy. Is Aveda.
Right.
I don't know why. It's just a stomach.
I would assume that you're assuming that it was one person's Aveda.
It should be Aveda's son. If it went with the other.
I hear. I don't know. Okay, I guess we'll stop here because the new Gemara goes for a while. So we'll stop here. Oh, tomorrow night, I think the island wanted to do Sunday earlier. What?
I'm down with that. I'm down.
I'm also, yeah. Why not?
Is that into that?
I can't do earlier. 9 o'clock. I have bedtime and kids and stuff.
Okay.
What's that?
Vote for anti.
What's that?
Vote for. Right. Well, what's the votes? I mean, we could do early. We could do 6, 7 before bedtime.
That means I can't do dinner with the family. So
That's a long dinner.
Listen, I have dinner at 6 and then start bedtime and then finish bedtime and homework. It's not easy, but it's a joy, obviously.
I'm saying there's football the whole day, so we have to miss football regardless.
Wait, what is this for?
Jack,
for tomorrow.
Sunday mornings.
We could do that too if the island wants.
Oh, it'll be the Sunday morning share instead of the CBS.
I have a son in yeshiva on Sunday. That's his punja.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. The island. Put it out there on the chat. Whatever the island wants is fine by me. All right. Okay. Good talk, everybody.
Good talk in Chicago.
Yeah.
You saw my what I asked in the middle, the chat?
So when you asked where?
I sent you a chat. Why the Gemara, the top of the page is dealing with who a guy should marry.
Right.
Why does no Gemara ever mention who the girl should marry?
It does. It says you should marry. Doesn't it say you should
about the guy?
No, it says you should marry your daughter to not to an Haaretz.
Where?
The Gemara after you posted that, what?
The Bas Kohen? Where?
No, further down it says that you're gonna like the lion. If you marry your daughter to a lion, you're saying maybe that's you marry your daughter to an Haaretz, and then you're gonna be. It's like marrying to a lion. Right? No, but okay, you're saying more of a hashkafic thing. When it says to marry the daughter to an Haaretz, it's more like a physical thing. That your daughter's going to be mistreated. I hear you have a shot?
No, I'm just. It doesn't say about him that he should marry. He should find the Rav or the Gabe or the Askin for his daughter. It just says about the guy.
I hear.
And who's the guy that we're talking about? And I'm Haaretz or not?
Which guy?
I don't know. With the guy this Gemara is talking about, he should marry a Bas Talmud chacham or a Bas of a Rav or whatever. Who's the guy? Everyone?
Yeah.
And yet the next Gemara says that you marry him to the father of the daughter, the girl he's looking at. If you marry her off to this guy, it's like you're marrying off to a lion.
Right.
How does that work? You just told the guy to marry the guy's daughter.
Right.
Now you're telling the father to let him.
I hear. I'm not sure. I hear. I don't know. I don't know what all this means. I mean, there's only a limited amount of talmidei chacham's daughters too, right?
Don't say that today. There's thousands of talmidei chachamim all over the place.
Yeah.
I knew. Hey, look, what's it called? The Gemara on Amud Aleph. I knew there was a reason I decided not to do Shemesh by force.
Why?
Not to be a Talmud chacham. You can't go to any meal. You can't do any, you're very limited.
True. I don't know again how you define that. But you do see that a lot of legitimate Talmidei Chacham don't eat. They don't eat.
Yeah. How about turning this, what's it called? You have to go to a restaurant. Turn it into a siyum. Is that a seudas mitzvah now?
Yes, a siyum is a seudas mitzvah. Yeah.
I hear. So if you know in advance, long enough, just make a siyum.
Yep.